the last session, we have talked about a brief overview on S3 service, which is called a simple storage service. In this session also, we are going to see the advanced feature of S3 service, which is called as versioning topic. So versioning is actually one of the most important and the advanced option that is available in the S3 service. So I'll talk about why versioning is important, in which scenario we are going to use the versioning, especially in the real-time industry where S3 versioning will be used or will be helpful with respect to the AWS cloud. So before I talk about S3 versioning concept, let us understand one scenario. And once after we understood the scenario, then I'll talk about the brief details about the versioning concept. Right. So first, let us understand the scenario as I was mentioning earlier. So here the scenario is, let's say I have created one S3 bucket. Okay, let us say I have created one S3 bucket. So we all know how to create the S3 bucket. Now in this S3 bucket, let us say that I have uploaded one object. Okay, I have uploaded one object. Let's say I have uploaded one text file, I have uploaded. Now I have I have some name for this text file. Okay, we all know that for every file that we upload or for every object that we upload into the S3 bucket, we'll have some name to that file or we'll have some name to that object. Now let's say that the whatever the file that I have uploaded into the S3 bucket, in this file I have some content written inside that. Let's say that the content that I have written inside the file is Amazon Web Services and DevOps. So this is the content that is available in the text file, which is available in the S3 bucket. And the name of this text file is file.txt. Okay, let us say that there is a file which is with the name file.txt. And what is the content that is available in the file.txt? The content that is available is Amazon Web Services and DevOps. So this is the content that is available in the S3 bucket, right? So now what I have done so far, I have just created one bucket. In that bucket, I have uploaded an object, which is basically a text document. The name of the text document is file.txt, and the content inside the text document is Amazon Web Services and DevOps. So this is the content that is available inside the text document, right? So now here we have two kinds of scenarios. The first scenario or first case is, let's say that I have a name to the file. Okay, let's say that I have a name to the file, which is called as file.txt, and I have some content inside the file. Now, here I already have one file with a name called file.txt and with some content called Amazon Web Services and DevOps. Now, what will happen when you upload the same file with the same file name into the S3 bucket? Okay, so here what I am doing in the case one, if I am going to upload the file with the same name and the same data, okay, I am uploading once again. So there is already one file with the name called file.txt. Now for the second time, what I am doing with the same name and with the same content, I am trying to upload once again. Now, when you upload once again with the same name and same data, what will happen in the AWS cloud or especially in the S3 bucket? What actually happens is whatever the old file that is already available, that old file will get replaced with the latest file that you have uploaded in case one. Okay, let us understand this scenario very clearly. So here I already have one file, which is called as file.txt. In this file, I have some content, which is Amazon Web Services and DevOps. So here we have two cases in S3 bucket. The first case is when I am trying to upload the same file, that is, which is having the same name and same data. When I try to upload once again, what will happen is this is your original file. Okay, this is your original file. Now here in the case one, you are uploading one more time the same file. Now what will happen? Whatever the old file that that is already available, that old file will automatically get deleted, and whatever the latest file that is available, that will be added into the S3 bucket, or that will get uploaded into the S3 bucket. When this will happen? Only when you have the same name to the file and when there is same data inside the file. Okay, when you have same name and same data inside the file. Now here, what is going to happen? What actually is the problem in this case? The problem is whatever the old file that is available, that old file will automatically get deleted. Why it is getting deleted? Because we are uploading one more time with the same name. Okay, with the same name called file.txt and with the same content called Amazon Web Services and DevOps. When you upload any file with the same name and same data, that file will be replaced with the old file. Okay, whatever the already existing file that is available, that file will get replaced with the latest added file or newly added file. Now, what will happen in this case? In this case, the old file is getting deleted. Now, you might have one question here. So here in both the cases or in the both files, the content is same. So why to bother about whether the file is getting deleted or whether the old original file is there or the newly uploaded file is there? Why we need to bother? So we don't need to bother about that. So that's actually the case one. So case one is to just show you what will happen when you upload a file with the same name and same data. What is happening? The original file, which is this one, this original file will get replaced with the newly added file that you have uploaded in case one. Right? Now, let us understand the case two here. What is case two? In case two, what I'll do is I will give the same name to the file. So I'll not change the name to the file. I'll give the same name, which is called as a file.txt. But what I'll do is I'll keep different data. Instead of Amazon Web Services and DevOps, let's say I'll keep 1 week workshop. Okay, I'll just keep 1 week workshop when I'm uploading the file in case two. But remember, whatever the file that I'm uploading in the case two, the file name is remains same. I'm not changing the file name. What I'm changing, I'm only changing the data inside the file. Okay, I'm only changing the data inside the file. So here also what will happen, since the file name is the same, okay, since the file name is same, what AWS will do is AWS will replace the already existing file. Now, which is the already existing file? This file has got deleted. When it has got deleted, when I'm uploading the same name in case one. So that means that this file is no longer available. If you consider this as the original file, this file is no longer available. Now, whatever the file that we have uploaded in case one, that is available now. Now, in case two, what I'm doing, in case two also, I'm uploading the file with the same name, but I'm going to keep different data. Now, when you upload any file with the same name, what will happen? Whatever the already existing file that is available, which is basically the file that is in case one, that file will get deleted and the latest file will only be able to access. Okay, you can able to access only the file that you have uploaded in case two. Why this is happening? This is happening because of the file name. Okay, the file name is same in all the three cases. If you consider this as the original case and this as case one and this as case two, in all these three cases, what is the one common thing? The common thing is the file name. So what happens in AWS cloud, or not just AWS cloud, in other cloud environments also, when you upload any file which contains the same name, whether it can contain the same data or different data, doesn't matter. If the file name is same, whatever the old file that is available, that old file will get deleted and then the new file will get added. Now, what is the problem with this case? The problem with this case is the data deletion is happening. Okay, the data deletion is happening, and whatever the existing file that is available, that existing file is getting overwritten. Okay, that existing file is getting overwritten. Now, do we need in this case? Suppose, let's say I want to upload two files. Let's say I'll just call the first file as a file one, okay, and the second file as a file two. So in the first file, let's say I have kept the content as AWS. Okay, in the first file, I have kept the content as AWS. In file two, I have kept the content as GCP. Okay, in file two, I have kept the content as GCP. Let's assume that the name of the file one is f1.txt and the name of the file two is f2.txt. Here, the file name is same or different? The file name is different. So when you maintain different file names, then there won't be any kind of overwritten or data deletion. The problem comes only when you maintain the same file names. Suppose, let's say I'm going to create a file called f3. In F3, let's say that I'm going to write a name called, or I'm going to write a content called IBM. Let's say I'm going to write this content called IBM. Now, one more time, what I'll do, I will upload the same file. Okay, I'll create one file on my desktop or on my PC with the same name. But what I'll do, I'll write different content. Let's say here I'll just write the content as Microsoft Azure. MSA I'll write. Now, what will happen in this case, since the file names are same, okay, since the file names are same, the old file, whatever that is available, this file will get deleted and the latest file only will be added. Now, suppose let's say third time you are going to create the same file, which is with the name called F3. But in the third time, okay, you're writing the content as Linux you're writing. Now, what will happen in the third case? Whatever the old file that is available with the same name, that old file will get deleted and the latest file will get added. So this happens only when you have the same file name. When you maintain different file names, then there won't be any problem. Okay, all the files will be preserved. Now, when you have the same file names, then there comes the problem. Okay, then there comes the problem. Now here, why it is important to understand the scenario? The scenario is, suppose let's say you're working for a project. Okay, let's say you're working for a project. Now, for a project, do you think that only one people will be there? Please mute yourself. It will be kindly mute yourself, so that will be benefit for you. Right. So here, what is happening? Let me just keep this one. Yeah. So here, what I'm telling here, the condition is why we need to understand this particular scenario. The scenario for this is when you are working for any software project in the real-time industry, it is not just you who is going to work for the project. Now, for a project, you will have multiple members that will be working. Okay, there will be team of people, there will be multiple teams that will be working, and in each team there will be a group of people or a set of people will be there. Now, what is happening here, when you are working for a project, you know that there are multiple people that will be working. Let me call them as person 1, person 2, person 3, and person 4. Now, all these people, okay, all these 4 persons, they have connected to the same S3 bucket. Okay, all these 4 people are connected to the same S3 bucket. Why they have connected to the same S3 bucket? Because they are working for a common project. That means whatever the data that is related to the project, all that data, let's assume that it is available in one S3 bucket. Now, what is happening? All these 4 people are connected to the same S3 bucket. Okay, all these 4 people are connected to the same S3 bucket. Now, let's assume that person 1, okay, let's assume that person 1 has created a file called AWS. Okay, person 1 has created a file called aws.txt. Okay, let's say person 1 has created a file called aws.txt. Now, person 2 also created the same file with the same name. Okay, so person 2 also created the same file name. But let's assume that whatever the data that is kept by person 1 is completely different from person 2. Okay, is completely different from person 2. Let's assume that person 1 has kept some data according to his requirement and person 2 has kept some data according to his requirement. But by chance, what they have done, or by intentionally or not unintentionally or by accidentally, whatever the scenario is, they have created the same file. Okay, they have created the same file. Now let's assume that person 1 has uploaded the file at 5 p.m. in the 5 p.m. Okay, person 1 has uploaded one file at 5 p.m. with a name called aws.txt, and person 1 has kept some code inside that file. Okay, some application code he has kept. Now, person 2, what he has done, he is going to create the same file with the same name, and he has uploaded that file at 6 p.m. Now, what will happen? Whatever the file that is uploaded by person 1 at 5 p.m., that file will no longer be available. Why no longer be available? Because person 2 is also uploading the file with the same name. Okay, person 2 is also uploading the file with the same name. Now, in this case, what is happening? Whatever the code that is written by the person 1, all that code is lost from the cloud environment. Okay, it is lost from the cloud environment. Let's assume that person one has uploaded the file into the S3 bucket and he felt like, okay, there is no point that I want to keep this file in my personal computer. So I'll just delete that file from my personal computer. Now assume that person one has deleted the file from his personal computer and person two has created the same file and he has uploaded the file into the same S3 bucket. Now what is going to happen? Whatever the file that is uploaded by person one, that file will no longer be available. That means whatever the code or whatever the content that is written by person one, all that content has been lost. There is no way of getting back that file. Now this is something which will happen in the real-time industry. But AWS will provide us one feature which is called as versioning. Okay, AWS will provide us one feature which is called as versioning to take care of these problems. What is the problem? The problem is we don't want the data to get deleted and we don't want the overwriting of existing files. So when you don't want overwriting of existing files, there is an option in S3 service which is called as versioning. That versioning option, you have to enable it. Now, when you enable versioning for a bucket, what will happen? Even though if you upload the files with the same name, let's say there is a file called F1 and there is a file called F2. Sorry, there is a file again called F1. There is again one more file called F1. Now, since versioning is enabled for the bucket, all these three files will be available. Why they will be available? It is because we have enabled the versioning. If you don't enable the versioning, what will happen? The previous file will get deleted when you are uploading for the second time. When you are uploading for the third time, the previous file will get deleted. So that's the advantage of S3 versioning concept. Okay, so the advantage of S3 versioning concept is to avoid the data deletion or overwriting of existing files. Okay, why it will happen? Because in a team or for a project, multiple people will be working, and there is always a chance that same people, I mean, different people can create a file with the same name. There is this chance also. We cannot tell that there won't be any chance. Okay, maybe everybody in the team or at least two people in the team might create the file name with the same name. Now, in that case, the data deletion should not happen. So if the data deletion should not happen, then you have to secure the data by enabling the versioning concept. Okay, by enabling the versioning concept. So that's the advantage of versioning concept. Okay, so let us understand. This is the scenario. Now let us understand how this versioning will be behaving when you enable the versioning for a bucket. Okay, then once I let you know the concept, then I'll let you know how to do it in a practical way. Right. So first, let us understand how it actually looks like. So by default, whenever you create a bucket, the versioning will be disabled. Okay, you have to, in order to enable the versioning, you have to manually do that. Okay, by default, the versioning will be disabled for any S3 bucket that you are going to create. Now, what will happen when you enable the versioning for a bucket? Okay, so when you enable the versioning for a bucket or without enabling versioning for a bucket, there will be three states for a bucket. Okay, in a default case, we'll have three states for a bucket. The first state is called as unversioned bucket. So what is this unversioned bucket? Unversioned bucket is nothing but by default, when you create a bucket, versioning will be disabled. Such kind of bucket is called as unversioned bucket. Okay, such kind of bucket is called as unversioned bucket. So what is unversioned bucket? By default, whenever we create the S3 bucket, the versioning will be disabled for that bucket. And that bucket is called as unversioned bucket. You can see this is displayed when versioning is disabled. That means when you have not enabled the versioning, then it is called as an unversioned bucket. Now the second state is called as versioning enabled or versioned bucket. When this will be available? This will be available when you manually enable the versioning for a bucket. Okay, when you manually enable the versioning for a bucket. And the last state is called as versioning suspended. Versioning suspended is nothing but this will be disabled. Suppose, let's say I have enabled the versioning. Now, after my work gets completed, I have disabled the versioning. I don't want versioning to be enabled for a longer duration of time. So in the first case, I have enabled the versioning and I have done some work after enabling the versioning. And from then on, after that, after my work gets completed, I have disabled the versioning. Now, when you disable the versioning, such option is called as versioning suspended. So this particular option will be displayed when you disable the versioning. When you disable the versioning, when it is already enabled. Okay, when it is already enabled, and only if you are disabling the versioning, then you will see the versioning suspended. So the concept of versioning is nothing but it is going to maintain the versions of the same files. Suppose, let's say we all have this Instagram or we all have this WhatsApp. Now, once in a while we'll get the updates in WhatsApp. Okay, once in a while we'll get the updates in WhatsApp. Suppose, let's say today you have the WhatsApp version as, let's say, 1.1.1. Now, let's say after 1 month you got the new version for the same WhatsApp. The application is same. Okay, the application is same, but the version is getting changed. Now, whenever the version is getting changed, are you going to create the WhatsApp account one more time? No. Are you going to create, or are you, are you going to lose the chat boxes? No. Are you going to lose any data but that is already available in the previous version? No. So what is happening here? Even though the application remains same, and even though the versioning of the application gets changed, your data is still secure. That's the entire concept of versioning. Okay, to keep it simple, that's the entire concept of versioning. The file name can be same, but when you enable the versioning, doesn't matter how many times you upload the same name of file, it will store all those files. Only when you enable the versioning. When you disable the versioning, it will not store. It will always replace with the latest added files. Now, here we have, whenever you enable the versioning, we have one concept or we have one ID, which is called as version number, or you can also call it as version ID. Okay, there will be a version number for all types of buckets. Okay, whatever the three types of buckets that we are talking, for all these three types of buckets, we have the version ID. Now, for an unversioned bucket, we don't have any version number. So we'll have the version number as null as the version number. So logically speaking, we don't have any kind of version number. So for versioning enabled bucket, okay, for versioning enabled bucket, you can see here. So this is an unversioned bucket. So for unversioned bucket, you can see, okay. Now, when you enable the versioning, okay, when you enable the versioning, what will happen is you will get the version, okay, you'll get the version ID, which is available in terms of alphanumeric character. The version ID will be available in terms of alphanumeric character. And remember, version ID will not be there for the bucket, it will be there for the object. Okay, it will be there for the object, not for the bucket. This is the important parameter. So whatever the version number or version ID that will be available, that version ID will be available for the object and not for the bucket. So what is the characteristic of version ID? It will be an alphanumeric character. So let me show you that. So you can see there is a version ID. You can see in the first case, I have uploaded a file called AWS basic details.docx. Now, when versioning was not enabled, you can see null as the version ID. Now, I enabled the versioning, and the second time also I have uploaded the file with the same name. You can see in the same name, two files are available. Now, when I enabled the versioning, you can see there is an alphanumeric character that is available. So this is how version numbers will be allotted for the bucket, for the objects. Now, you might have a question here. What is the importance of having the version ID? Okay, what is the importance of having the version ID? The importance is, suppose, let's say you have uploaded two files. In these two files, the data is different. Okay, the file name is same, but data is different. Now, I want to upload this particular file. Okay, now I want to upload this particular file. Now, how will you communicate to AWS to download this particular file? You are going to communicate by providing the version ID. Why you need to provide version ID? Because when you give download request to AWS will confuse whether it has to download this one or this one. So you have to be particularly telling to AWS that I want this particular file which is having this version ID. So by using version ID, we can download a specific file. Okay, we can download a specific file when you have the same name for the file. And the last one is called as versioning for version object. So when you create a bucket, before you enable the versioning, you can see this is how the S3 bucket looks like. I mean, after creating the buckets, I went inside the bucket. Okay, so this is how it looks like. Now, once after you enable the versioning, okay, once after you enable the versioning, what happens is there will be a change. Okay, see, this is after enabling the versioning, and this is before enabling the versioning. Now, can somebody spot the difference between this slide and this slide? What is the difference before enabling the versioning and after enabling the versioning? Can you spot the difference here? What is the major difference? Can anybody spot the difference between this one and this one? Right. So here, what is the difference is here, when you don't enable the versioning or when you haven't enabled the versioning for a bucket, there won't be any option to see. I'll show you that. But when you enable the versioning, can you hear an option called show versions? Can you see this option called show versions? This will be available only when you enable the versioning. Okay, this will be available only when you enable the versioning. So you can see here, before enabling the versioning, there is no such tag called show versions. Only when the toolbar will be available only when you enable the versioning for a bucket. Okay, so if you want to identify for a bucket whether there is a versioning that is available or not, you can check that by verifying this show versions toolbar. Okay, if show versions toolbar is available, that means for that bucket, the versioning is enabled. Okay, right. So now let us understand the concept of same name and same data. When I say same name, I mean to say same file name. So here, let's say I have created an S3 bucket. In that S3 bucket, I have enabled the versioning. You can see the toolbar. I have enabled the versioning. Now, here I have created one file called file1.txt. Okay, I have created a file called file1.txt. Now, in this file, let's say that I have the data which is called as Amazon Web Services. Okay, in the file1.txt, I have the data called Amazon Web Services. This is for the first time I am uploading. Now, when I upload the file for the second time also, okay, when I upload the file for the second time also, here what will happen when you enable the show versions toolbar, okay, forget about uploading the file second time. When you enable the show versions toolbar, you will be able to see the version ID. Okay, are you able to see the version ID? Yes. So before enabling the show versions toolbar, you don't see any version ID. Only when you enable the show versions toolbar, you will be able to see the version ID of the object. Okay, the version ID for the object. Right. Now, let's say that second time also, I'm going to upload the file with the same name. Okay, second time, I'm going to upload the file with the same name. But what I'll do is I will keep the same data. I'll not change the data. Okay, if you want to verify that, you can clearly verify that. You can see the first file was uploaded at a time 21:38. Okay, that means I have uploaded at 9:38 p.m. Now, second file, when I have uploaded 9:46 p.m. Okay, you can clearly see the difference of time, uploading time. But the file name is same. And inside this file, the data is also same. Now, I want to access both the files, the file which I have uploaded at 9:38 and the file which I have uploaded at 9:46. If you want to access both the files, you have to enable this show versions toolbar. Okay, when you enable the show versions toolbar, you are able to access the file which is uploaded at 9:38 p.m. and you are also able to upload the file, access the file which is uploaded at 9:46 p.m. as well. That is with respect to same name and same data. See, you have both the files. When you don't enable the versioning, what will happen? You will have only one file. Okay, so here, since I have enabled the versioning, I'm able to preserve the files which have the same file name. Okay, now let us understand the other concept of same name and different data. Now here what I'm doing at 9:52, I'm uploading the file with the same name. I'm not changing the file name. So the file name is f1.file1.txt. But what is the data that I'm keeping inside the file? The data that I'm keeping inside this file. Now, what will happen? Will we be able to lose the previous versions? No. We will be able to preserve that one. Why we will be able to preserve that one? It is because we have enabled the versioning for the bucket. You can see if you enable the show versions toolbar, you can see all the files, all the latest file is also available, which is uploaded at 9:52 p.m. and the old files are also available. That means you are able to store all the files, or you are able to store or preserve all the objects which are having the same file names. That's with respect to same name and same data. So when you don't enable the versioning, you will lose the data. When you enable the versioning, you will be able to preserve the data only when you have the same file names. When you don't have the, I mean, let's say when you don't have the same file names, even if you don't enable the versioning also, the objects will be available. We don't have any problem with that. The problem comes only when you have the same file name. The problem comes only when you have the same file name. Especially in the real-time scenarios, what we will do when we work with teams is, I mean, when we work with a group of people is, we will always enable the versioning option. Why? Because we don't know. People might create the files with the same name. So when they accidentally create the file with the same name, which is already available in the S3 bucket, the existing file will get replaced with the new file. So for that reason, we always enable the versioning for the S3 bucket, especially when you are working with a team of people. Okay, right. So now let us do it in a practical way. This entire concept, let us do it in a practical way. Right. So for that, what I'll do is I'll just go to my S3 bucket. I hope you are able to see my AWS console. I have already logged into my AWS console. So I'm currently in the S3 bucket, S3 service. Okay. Just a minute. A message has come. Let me check what is that. Yes. Yeah, fine. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the files. Okay, first I'll create a bucket. And after creating a bucket, I'll show you what happens when you upload the file with same name and same data before enabling the versioning and after enabling the versioning. Right. So let me click on create bucket. And here we should give the bucket name. And remember, bucket name must be globally unique. Okay, let me give the name as versioning bucket or versioning demo bucket. We should not use spaces. So versioning a demo bucket. Let me give today's date as a 07. And I'm just going to keep as it is the object ownership. This is not required because we have already worked with this one in the last session. So I'm not going to work with the public access option. So let it be the default thing. And here you can see bucket version. So by default, the versioning is disabled. So we have to manually enable it. Now, currently, I don't enable it manually here. So let me create a bucket by disabling the versioning itself. I'm not going to enable it currently. By after creating the bucket, I'll enable it. Okay, right. So I'm just disabling the versioning for the bucket, and then with the default data, I'm just going to create the bucket. Now, once I create the bucket, here, what I am going to do is in that bucket, I will show you how it happens or how it behaves when the versioning was disabled. So here you can see versioning demo bucket, right? So here, what I'll do is I'll take help of the notepad and Word document for our reference. So what I'll do is, let me just open the Word document and let me also open the notepad as well. All right. So here, what I am going to do is, let me go with the notepad first. So here in the notepad, what I'll do is, let's say I'll just write the content as file one uploaded. Okay, file one, or you can make it as first time uploaded. Okay, I'll just make it as first time uploaded. I'm just writing some content inside a file. Okay, I'm just writing some content inside a file. So what is that content? First time uploaded. Or let us, okay, I'll do one thing. I'll just give it as this way. So for the first time, what I'm doing, I'm writing the content as AWS, or let me make it as Amazon Web Services. So this is the content that I am writing inside a file. So let me save this file. Okay, let me save this file on desktop. And here, what I'll do is I'll give the file name as file1.txt. You can give any name, there is no problem. Just give file1.txt or any name of your convenience. So, right. So I have created a file with the name called file1.txt. In the file1.txt, what is the content that is available? Amazon Web Services. So let me make that one. So the file name is a file1. Inside the file one, what is the content that is available? Amazon Web Services. So this is the content that is available. So let me do it in this way. Let me draw a table, then it will be clear. So name of the file, the name of the file, and then I'll just keep it as content inside it. the content inside it. So here, what I am doing is I'm just creating one file. So let me keep one more tab here. Let me give this one just a second. Right. So time uploaded. So I'll just time in the sense, not just the clock time. I'm just telling it as how many times we have uploaded the same file. Right. So here I'm just giving this for our reference only, nothing much here. So here, first time I'm uploading. Okay, first time I'm going to upload. So first time when I'm uploading, what is the name of the file? File1.txt. Okay, this is the name of the file. What is the content that is available inside the file1.txt? The content is Amazon Web Services. Okay, this is the content that is available. Now, this is basically before enabling the versioning. Okay, before enabling the versioning. Right. So now let me go to my S3 bucket. I hope you are able to see the S3 bucket. Now go to upload and you can see file1.txt. Okay, there is a file called file1.txt. So let me select the file, open, and then upload. Okay, and then upload. So now what is going to happen? The file will get uploaded, right? So are we able to access the file? Yes, you can see the file has got uploaded. Now, if you want to see what is the data that is available in the file, how will you check that? Just check the file. You can see check the file and then click on open. Now, what will happen in the new tab? You can see the content. Okay, can you see the content? Amazon Web Services, right? So the content is available inside the file. Now, second time I'm going to upload with the same name. Okay, second time also I'm going to upload with the same name. But what I will do is I will change the data. Okay, instead of Amazon Web Services, what I'll do is I'll just give it as Google Cloud Platform. Okay, Google Cloud Platform. See, the file name is same. You can see the file name on top, file1.txt. But the data is same. Data is different. Okay, when you upload the same file with same name and same data, you don't see a difference. So that's why I'm uploading same file name with a different data. So I'm just giving the data as a GCP. So let me save this one, right? I have saved. Let me go to my S3 bucket. Okay, let me go to my S3 bucket. Before that, so I'm uploading it for the second time. The second time uploading. What is the file name when I'm uploading for the second time? The file name remains same, which is file1.txt. What is the content that I have written? Google Cloud Platform. This is the content that I have written when I'm uploading the file with the same name for the second time. Okay, see, in both the cases, the file name is same, but the data is different. So now what should happen when I upload? This file1 should not be available. We should not be able to access this file1 and the data inside this file1. We will see only, we should see only this data. Why? Because when the versioning is not enabled, the old version of the same file will get deleted. The file gets deleted and the content inside it also gets deleted. Let us verify that. So what I'll do is let me go to my S3 bucket. You can see S3 bucket and click on upload here. And I'm just going to add files. And here I'm going to select one more time with the same name, file1.txt. What will be there in the file1.txt? See, second time I'm uploading. Second time, what is the content that is available? Google Cloud Platform, right? So let me click open and let me click upload. Before clicking the upload, we know that in the first time uploaded file, we have this content, Amazon Web Services, right? So now let me click on upload. Now, how many files we should have? Logically speaking, we should have two files with the same name. Okay, why we should have two files? Because we have uploaded two files individually. Now, since we have not enabled the versioning for the bucket, we will see the latest uploaded file. Okay, we will see the latest uploaded file. Now, can you see how many objects you are seeing here? Only one object. That means whatever the latest uploaded object that is available, only that is available. Now, what will be there inside this file? So just check the file, click on open. According to our knowledge, what should be there in the latest uploaded file? GCP should be there. That is Google Cloud Platform should be there. Let us verify whether we have the Amazon Web Services or GCP. Let us verify that. So check the file, click on open, and you should see Google Cloud Platform. That means if you refresh this one, okay, if you refresh this one, or once if you close this one, you will no longer be able to access that. Now, can you see? in both the tabs, what has got changed? It has got changed to Google Cloud Platform. In the first tab, earlier it was Amazon Web Services. Now, as soon as I refreshed, what happened? The old data has got replaced with the latest data. Okay, that is what happens. Now let us upload it for one more time. Okay, so third time I'm going to upload with the same name. Okay, let me give it as third time. So third time also the file name remains same. I'm not going to change the file name, but let's say I'm going to change the content as Microsoft Azure. Okay, I'm going to change the name file content as Microsoft Azure. Let me go to the file. I am just going to delete this one and I'm going to keep this data, which is Microsoft Azure. Now let me save this file and go to S3 bucket. Okay, go to S3 bucket. And now see here, what is the time? 5:40. That is 17:40 is 5:40. Let me upload the file now. Okay, let me upload the file for the third time with the same name. So I'm just selecting file1.txt, open, and then upload. Now we should not be able to access the file which is available, which is uploaded at 5:40. Now the latest file will be available. Can you see the time of the timestamp of the file? 5:42, which is just now uploaded. Now what should be there in this file the third time I'm uploading? So third time when I'm uploading, what is the content I have written? Microsoft Azure. Right. So let us verify whether we have Microsoft Azure or AWS or GCP. Let us check that. So just select the file, click on open, and you should see Microsoft Azure. Now here, if you go and refresh it, you should see Microsoft Azure. So the data is getting replaced. You can see here also. Here it is GCP. Now if you reload this one, the data will get replaced with Microsoft Azure. So here it is showing the access got denied because we have waited it for too long. So because that file is no longer available, that's why it is showing access denied. Right. So that will happen when you work with the without enabling versioning for the bucket. Okay, when you don't enable versioning for the bucket, that is what happens. Right. So now currently we have uploaded the files for 3 times, the same file name with different data I have uploaded. Now what I will do is I will enable the versioning. So after enabling the versioning, let us see what will happen. Okay, after enabling the versioning, So let me just copy this entire table. Let me get it here. Right. So here, what I'll do is I'll not change the file names. Let me do doing this for right. So now I'm going to enable the versioning. So let me first enable the versioning. So how will you enable the versioning? If you go to permissions, okay, if you go to permissions, in the permissions, you will see an option which is called as a versioning. Not in the permission, sorry. So in the properties. Okay, yeah, you can see bucket versioning. So currently it is in the disabled state. So now let us enable it. How will you enable? Just click on edit here. Okay, click on edit, and here you can see enable. Okay, you can see enable. So now if you click on save changes, the versionings will be available. Now if you go to objects, you should see the show versions toolbar. Earlier it was not there. Now only it is there. Okay, now only it is there. Right. So now what is the data that is available in the existing file? Let's assume that this is the existing file. What is the data that is available in this file? The data that is available is GCP. GCP or Microsoft Azure. Third time what we have here. Microsoft Azure. That should be the data. Let us check that. So select the file, click on open. Okay, you should see Microsoft Azure. Right. So now we already have one file. Okay, we already have one file which is called as file1.txt. In that file1.txt, what is the content that is available? Microsoft Azure. Now what I will do is second time I am going to upload the file. Okay, second time I am going to upload the file with the same name. I'm not going to change the file name. But what I'll do, I'll change the content inside it. Instead of Microsoft Azure, let me give it as Linux is an open source. Okay, Linux is an open source software. Let me give in this way. This is the content that I'm writing. When second time. Okay, see, I have enabled the versioning. When I was enabling the versioning, now second I'm going to upload the file, which is the file1.txt. but the data is different. Okay, but the data is different. Let me copy this entire one and let me keep it in the file1.txt. So instead of this one, I will keep Linux is an open source software. Right, let me save this one. Control S. Now go to the S3 bucket. Now here, before uploading the object one more time, you can see the show versions toolbar. If you enable this show versions toolbar, can you see the version ID? Null is the version ID. Why? Now you might have a question. We have enabled the versioning, but why we are seeing null as the version ID? Why we are not seeing the version number, that is alphanumeric character? It is because null is shown because when we have uploaded this file before enabling the versioning or after enabling the versioning. We have uploaded this object before enabling the versioning. So whenever we upload the object before enabling the versioning, for all objects, we have null as the version ID. Okay. Since we have not enabled the versioning when we are uploading this file, that is the reason why we are seeing null as the version ID. Now I have enabled the versioning. Okay, now I have enabled the versioning for the bucket, right? I went to the properties and I have enabled the versioning. From now on, what will happen? If I upload the file with the same name, since I have enabled the versioning, I should not see null as the version ID. I should see the alphanumeric character for the second time upload. Let us verify that. So just click on upload and then add files. And now let me add this file, which is file1.txt. Let me click on open and then let me upload it. So before uploading it, we already have one file, which is file1.txt. In that, the content is Microsoft Azure. So second time I'm going to upload with the same name, but with a different data, right? That is what we have kept here. Linux is an open source software, right? So let me go to the S3 bucket and then click on upload. Right. So the second time uploaded file is also available. Now, as per our logic, how many files should be available? As per our logic, how many files should be available? We should see both these files. Okay, we should see both these files. Why? Because we have enabled the versioning. Since we have enabled the versioning, we should be able to see or we should be able to access both these files. Right? Now let us check whether these two files are available or not. Now, if you go to S3 bucket, now can you see which file is available? Only one file is available. That is latest uploaded file. The old file is not available. Now, how will you access the old file? You can access the old file by enabling this show versions toolbar. Okay, when you enable this show versions toolbar, then you will be able to access the old file also. Okay, let me show you that. So if you click on show versions, this toolbar, you can see the null version ID file is there and the latest file which is having the version ID is also available. You can see the timestamps of the files as well. Now let us verify whether in the second time uploaded file, we should have the content, which is Linux is an open source software. Let us verify that. Just check the file, click on open. Now you should, right, can you see? Linux is an open source software. If you reload this one, the data will be replaced. It is because it will get confused which file it has to show. So for that reason, the data will get replaced here, but the data will still be available in this file. Suppose if you select the old file, which is having null version ID, and if you click on open, you will see the Microsoft Azure. So you are seeing Microsoft Azure and you are also seeing Linux is an open source software. That means the data has not got deleted. Even though we have uploaded the two files with the same name, but with the different data, the data is not getting replaced. Now let us do it for the third time also. Okay, and then we'll get a clarity. So now what I'll do it for the third time, okay, with the same file name. I'm not going to change the file name, which is file1.txt. Now here, what I'll do is I'll just write some content. Let's say I'll just write it as Kubernetes is a tool in DevOps. Okay, Kubernetes is a tool in DevOps. Let me write this one. Now let me copy this and go to the file1.txt. Now I'll delete this content and I'll paste this content. So Kubernetes is a tool in DevOps. Let me save this file. Now go to the S3 bucket. Now let us upload for the third time also. Okay. So when you click on upload and when you click on add files and when you add the file1.txt, just open and select and then click on upload. Now, how many files we should see? Logically speaking, we should see all the three files. Okay, we should see all the 3 files. Let us verify that. So once if you click on close here, now you can see only one object is available. What about this object? This is the latest uploaded object. If you want to access the old objects which are having with the same file name, then you have to enable this show versions toggle bar. Once you enable the show versions toggle bar, you can see all the 3 versions of the files. Can you see the timestamps difference you can observe here? Right. So now what will be there in the latest uploaded file? We should have Kubernetes is a tool in DevOps. Let me show. Let us verify. So just select the latest uploaded file, click on open, and we should see the Kubernetes is a tool in DevOps. We are seeing the old content, whatever that is available, and we are also able to preserve the latest file as well. That is the advantage of versioning concept. Okay, that is the entire advantage of versioning concept. So now what I will do is, so you can see the version ID, this is all good. So now let's say I will disable the version. Okay, I'll disable the versioning, and after disabling the versioning, I will upload the file one more time with different data, but with same name. Let us do that. So how will you disable the versioning? Go to properties. In the properties, you can see bucket versioning. So currently what is there? Bucket versioning is enabled. Now we have to suspend the versioning. That means we have to disable the versioning. So edit, click on edit, and you can see suspend. Okay, you can see suspend, and then acknowledge it, and then click on save changes. So once you click on this, what will happen? The versioning is suspended now. Okay, the versioning is suspended. You can see bucket versioning. What is the status? It is suspended. Okay, it is suspended. Right. So let me go to the objects. Even though you have suspended the versioning, you will see the show versions toggle bar. Why? Because you have the versions of the same file. Okay, since you have the versions of the same file, you will still see the show versions toggle bar, and you will still be able to access the previous versions. Okay, you'll still be able to access the previous versions. Now, what I will do is I'm going to upload it for the 4th time. The same file, I'm going to upload it for the 4th time with the same name. I'm not going to change the name of the file. But here, what I will do is Linux is, let me write some content. Linux is developed by Linus Torvalds. Okay. Linux is developed by Linus Torvalds. Right. I'm just writing this content when for the 4th time uploading file. So let me delete this content and let me give this content Control S to save the file. Let me go to the bucket and then click on upload. Okay, click on upload, add files, and then select the file whatever you have created and then upload. Now what will happen? The latest file will be available. What is the latest file? In this file, we should see Linux is developed by Linus Torvalds. Let us verify. Yes, we are able to see this. Now, one more time, what I'll do is I'll upload the file for the 5th time also. Okay, I'll upload the file for the 5th time. See, here what I mean to say is for the 4th time and 5th time when I'm uploading, I have disabled the versioning. Okay, that is something which you have to remember. So let me write it here. So here I have disabled the versioning. I have disabled the versioning. Right. So now for the 5th time also, I'm uploading the same file, but with different data. Let's say Jenkins is a tool. Okay, Jenkins is a tool in DevOps. Okay, let us write this content. So let me select this one, go to the file. I'll just delete this content and I'll paste this content. Right. So now for the 5th time uploading file, what should be the data? Jenkins is a tool in DevOps. Now, since I have disabled the versioning, will we be able to access this Linux is developed by Linus Torvalds? No, we should not be able to access. Why? The versioning is disabled. When the versioning is disabled, the old file will get replaced with the latest file. Let us verify that. So let me go to the S3 bucket. I'll just close these ones. It's not required. So now in this file, whatever the file that is available, what is the data that is available? It is Linux is developed by Linus Torvalds. Now for the 5th time, I'm uploading the file with the same name. Click on add files and then select the file, upload. So now what should we see? We should see the data as Jenkins is a tool in a DevOps. Let me click on close. And here, if you select this one, okay, select the latest file, you can see. And here, if you click open, we will see Jenkins is a tool in DevOps. We will no longer see this one. If you reload it, you will not see that one. The old data has got deleted. It's no longer available. That's how the versioning will be helpful in the real-time applications. So when you don't enable the versioning for a bucket, the old data will always get replaced with the new data, especially when you have, or only when you have the file name as same. When you have different file names, then there won't be any problem. There is no chance of deleting the data or overwriting the data. Even though if you enable the versioning or if you disable the versioning also, if the file name is different, we don't have any problem with the data deletion. The problem comes only when you have the same file name. So that is the entire concept of versioning. Now, suppose let's say if you enable this show versions toggle bar. Okay, if you enable the show versions toggle bar, you can see the old files are available. Okay, the old files are available, but the latest file which is available, since I have disabled the versioning. Okay, I have disabled the versioning. I am seeing null as the version ID. You can see the timestamp also. Okay, you can see the timestamp, which is basically null as the version ID. Now, suppose let's say I want to delete an object. Okay, I'll disable this show options toggle bar. Now I want to select this file and I want to delete it. Let me delete the object. Let me give it as permanently delete. Right. So now I have deleted the object. Now you will not see any objects here. Why you're not seeing any objects? Because whatever the object that we have uploaded, that was uploaded before enabling the version. So now if you click on show versions, the old files will be available. Can you see the old files? Yes. And you can also see the latest file as well, which was uploaded at 17:58 p.m. And you can see what is the type of file. It is not recognizing whether it is a text file, but here you can see it is recognizing whether it is a text file or Excel file, whatever the type of file, it is recognizing. But AWS will not recognize the type of file when you delete an object. Okay, when you delete an object, AWS will not recognize it. Now, what I'll do is here, when I disable the show versions toggle bar, here you can see there is no objects. It is showing as no objects are available. Now, when you enable the show versions, you will see all the old objects, including the deleted file. Okay, including the deleted file, it is available. Now, if you select this file, you cannot access this file. But let's say I want to get back this file. Okay, I want to get back this file. So how will you get back this file? So whatever the file that is having the delete marker tag, select that file and then click on delete. Okay, and then click on delete. And now just give permanently delete here. Let me give that. Right. Permanently delete and then click on delete objects. Now, if you just click on close, now what will happen is if you disable the show versions toggle bar, you have got the file back. Have you got the file back? Yes, we have got. Now, if you enable the show versions toggle bar, we don't see the delete marker file. Why? That's how you can get back the deleted file. Okay, you can get back the deleted file. So even though when you enable the versioning or when you disable the versioning, when you delete any file, you always have the chance to get back that file or to retrieve the file. It's something like recycle bin. So whenever you delete a folder or delete an object from your desktop, I mean, without holding the shift button, obviously. So when you don't hold the shift button and when you delete it, the files will be still available in your computer or in your PC. Where they will be available? They will be available in the recycle bin. Similarly, here also, when you select any file and when you delete the file, okay, when you select any file and when you delete it, the file gets deleted from the front end. You can see there are no objects that are available, but the file is still available in the backend, which is basically the recycle bin, and here it is versions. So the file is available in the recycle bin. Now, how will you get back this recycle bin file, or how will you restore this file? Just select the file and delete once again. Okay, just select the file and delete once again. Now, when you delete a file which is having a delete marker tag, it will undo the deletion process. Okay, it will undo the deletion process. Let us check that. So delete marker tag. Before that, let me disable this one, and you can see there are no objects. It's very clear. Now I'm enabling the show versions toggle bar. Select the file and then click on delete. Now what it should do, as per our understanding, it should undo the deletion process. That means it should come back to my front end of the S3 bucket. So let us verify that. So click on close, and here, if you disable this one, now can you see the object? Yes, you can see the content inside it also. right? It is available. So that's how versioning will be useful, especially when you want to store the files in such a way when there are same file names and different data that are available. So that's from my end for this particular session. If you have any doubts, you can unmute and ask doubts.